I need to preface this by saying that the excuse of it's a kids movie is the stupidest fucking thing you could possibly say. Because even if it is specifically geared towards kids, doesn't mean it has to be a shit movie. And even then, I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of movies that are appropriate for kids that are just as entertaining for adults. If you've ever seen the Lego Movie, I think that's one of the best examples. A million excuses you could come up with for this being shit, like it's a movie meant for kids. What did you expect? Oh, it's made for the fans, not the critics. Stuff like that. At the end of the day, a shit movie is a shit movie. The only excuse for it being shit is that it was shit. There is no other excuse. Either way, if you're interested in seeing the movie, recommend you should probably watch it before you watch this video, because this video, I mean, you're about to watch me like bitch for almost the length of the film I'm bitching about. But if you don't care and you don't care to ever see the film, then go ahead and watch this. Alright, I'm going to separate this into two different parts. The first part of this video is going to be spoilers free. No spoilers, only talking about what's publicly available through trailers and whatever other shit Nintendo has announced. I'm not going to go into depth of any specific things from the film. And then the second part, I'm going to talk about spoilers, spoilery stuff, specific things that happened and were shown in the movie. And of course, I will warn you before I get to that, so just there's your warning. You'll have to pardon my audio quality. I'm in an irregular, unorthodox spot at the moment. But let me just start off by saying, when the reviews for this movie first were being brought to light, a lot of them were immediately shit. They were very poor reviews. I think it had like a 42 on Rotten Tomatoes. And as morons who just will defend everything Nintendo shits out will say, the reviews must be wrong, because it's impossible that Nintendo just makes a piece of shit movie, right? Whenever IGN or some big outlet posts a review about like some Nintendo shit and it's low, the go-to that a lot of Nintendo fans will do is they'll say, oh, well, IGN gave it a 6, so it must be an 8. And that's gotta be like the corniest shit you can possibly do. Like, oh, well, is there really no universe at all where your beloved Nintendo can just make a product that just sucks cock? So there were a lot of ridiculous reviews. Someone, I forget which outlet it was, gave it a 0 out of 10. Most gave it low reviews, around like a 5 or a 6. And, you know, of course, all the fans said, well, these outlets are stupid. They must hate fun. It's impossible. I haven't seen this movie and it isn't out yet, but it's impossible that this movie is anything but perfect. So I just came back from seeing the movie, and what would I say just overall after having seen the movie? What do I think of it? The movie was a piece of shit. It was a terrible movie. It just sucked, and it was worse than I thought. It was worse than I expected. Is that to say that there's nothing good in the movie? Was I bored the entire time? No, but what I will say that I was surprised about, I was bored for a very, like, weird long portion of the movie. I would say for at least the first half an hour of the movie, I was unironically, like, very bored and uninterested. And it just says something about Nintendo and Illumination, how bad they fucked up. When they can make a movie where everything on screen is colorful and happy and fun and jumpy, make me just utterly bored for half an hour, at least. Like, and that was just the first 30 minutes of the movie. Like, it really does go to show. And the number one thing also that I love seeing people say is that this movie isn't for the critics, it's for the fans. Well, I'm going to tell you what right now. I'm a fan, and I thought it was a piece of shit. But okay, I'm just, you know, I'm blabbering here. Why specifically? What about this movie was shit? Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about, this is all going to be no spoilers. Anything I'm going to talk about right now, you can see in trailers. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even watch all the trailers before seeing the movie. I only saw, like, the first 2, I think, and a few clips and, like, some pictures they posted, screenshots and stuff. First of all, the overall structure of the movie. In the original Mario Bros. Movie, there was something going on. From the get-go, you knew there was a clear structure of the film. It was Mario and Luigi go through this pipe, and they end up in the Mushroom Kingdom, and they get split up. Mario has to rescue Luigi, and he has this whole journey along the way. That's the story. It's a very linear, easy-to-follow story. As garbage as it may have been, as uninteresting and boring as it may have been to some people at times. And for the record, I thought the original Mario movie was, like, pretty, like, lame, but I thought it was a fun enough movie for me to just like find it was tolerable, it was passable to me. It was not at all what I wish it was, of course, and I don't think it is a good movie objectively, but for what it was, I thought it was fine. Like that's all. I think it was okay for what it was. Again, a Mario movie. It was like lazy, but it was passable for what Nintendo did. This was really just it was bad. And the reason I bring up that linear story in the original movie is because in this second movie, the story is almost complete nonsense, and there is no following it because it is so unbelievably poorly structured. Everything about it, the pacing is terrible. The way the story is told is scrambled and fucked up. And just the entire way the movie flows, it's almost like they had a list of things and references they wanted to make, and they finished the movie. They reached 90 minutes at some point, and they were like, "Oh fuck, we forgot to add in some of these references." Because there are some portions of the movie that have a very specific thing that they're referencing, and they spend literally, and I'm not even joking, less than 3 minutes on what feels like it should normally be. If it was a normal movie, it would be like a 10-minute long kind of arc or plot moment that is crammed into under 3 minutes, and it's like there was one, and I'll get into the specifics once I start talking about spoilers, but there was one part in the movie in particular where there was obviously some kind of twist in the plot needed to happen for the movie to be interesting. Like, it was very predictable the way things were going to happen. But there was literally one line in between the setup to the issue and the plot being twisted. And it's like, what the hell was going on? There might as well have just been no line, and it just might as well have been a bunch of bullshit happening, because that's pretty much what it was. Were there any good parts of the movie? There were absolutely good parts of the movie. Just like the original movie, the action is where the fun part is, right? Watching the jumping around and the smashing of enemies and the use of power-ups. There were very few parts of the movie that were that, though, and it's a shame because some of them weren't great, but like it was obvious like that those were the highlights of the movie when you're seeing Mario grab a power-up, like you saw in the trailer, and just doing some crazy shit. And the way they advertise it, it's almost like certain scenes were put in, and it's these 10-second, 20-second scenes, and it's like they only exist to be put in the trailer. Like the frog suit that was in the original trailer, you saw Luigi with the frog suit. That's like I'm not even exaggerating in the slightest. That's about a 10-second sequence in the entire movie, and it's part of a reel of just like random shit happening. A lot of those exciting scenes you see are that. It's just 10 seconds in the movie that feels like it exists just to be put in the trailer. The next major thing of the movie I want to say is Fox McCloud. They spoiled, I don't know why they did, but they spoiled that Fox McCloud was going to be in the movie. And is he in the movie? Yes, he is in the movie. And you know what? He's really not fitting. It got a fuck ton of likes on Twitter when they first announced it. And rightfully so. I think it was very like exciting to see if you care about, the franchise, because Nintendo gives so little fucks about Star Fox that the last like Star Fox thing they did was like a failed Ubisoft tie-in. So to see a character as kind of odd as Fox McCloud show up in this Mario movie, it's like, what the fuck is he doing there? And you know what? Going into it, I was expecting him to somehow like be an interesting part of the story instead of just a what the fuck is he doing here kind of thing. But the entire movie, he was really just a what the fuck is he doing here kind of thing. Every single scene he was in felt really bizarre to watch. It's like I'm going to this Mario Galaxy movie. Why the hell is there Star Fox shit here? Like, what the hell is it doing here? And why is it, like, important to the story? Is this not the Mario Galaxy movie? What the fuck is Star Fox having to do with this? His personality in the movie, I mean, it's fitting for what he is in the game franchise. I don't know why they didn't just go with his typical voice actor. I know he's moved around with voice actors in the past. Who played him? It was Glenn Powell. And I think he does a fine job voicing Fox, but the writing is just so cheesy. They lean too much into, like, the, hey, dude, like, that kind of style in the way the writing is. The writing in this movie was terrible, and there's a lot of points in the movie where it is painfully corny to watch. Just some of the lines and the way they're delivered, some of the cliches they unironically pull, it becomes very, very cheesy at points. Even if I was a little kid watching this, I feel like I would like find that to be uncomfortable to watch because it's so corny, some of these moments. And Fox McCloud had a lot of that with the lines they wrote for him. Not necessarily his delivery of them. I think that was passable, but some of the lines and the way he was written was just so cheesy and corny and bad. And overall, his existence within the movie, thumbs down. It made no sense at all. It was unfitting. He was just there, and for some reason, like, helped secure the end goal of the story. It just is like, why is he there? They gave him some kind of weird backstory that I'll get into later on in the video when I talk spoilers, and it's almost the exact same backstory they gave another character, which I'll get into later. But it just overall, it was like weird to watch. It was like, wow, they just really stopped giving a shit, huh? It has nothing to do with, tying in other references and stuff. It's like, if they did this to appeal to like the millennials in the theater with their kids who played the original Star Fox on Super Nintendo, even to them, is this not like the most bizarre shit on planet Earth? Like, why is he here? Just because? Like, that's the only reason. He's here because. The next new major character in the movie was Yoshi, played by none other than, of course, the very fitting Donald Glover, of all fucking people. And I'd like to just say this, first of all. When it came to Yoshi, voice-wise, I thought it was very bad. I thought him being voiced by Donald Glover was the dumbest shit on it's like they just don't give a fuck anymore. And we can laugh it off, but it's like, it's kind of sad that like no one at Nintendo no one high enough gives a flying fuck enough to be like, why don't we like kind of treat the franchise like respectfully and seriously and get like proper voice acting and good story writing, because this is a movie and not a 2D platforming game. Like, you sit down to watch a movie because you want to hear a story and like the characters. So why don't we give this movie care, because the franchise deserves it and it deserves the respect of it. So it's like, well, how the fuck did Donald Glover get the role of Yoshi in the first place? And he did some interviews, and it's the same thing with Glenn Powell getting Fox. This is the biggest joke I've ever heard. He petitioned for it. He just wanted the role of Yoshi, so he reached out to Illumination and said he wanted to voice Yoshi, and so he did. And it's like, are you kidding me? That's all it took? Like, does anyone give a flying fuck? I don't understand it. He reached out to Illumination, and they were like, okay, you want the role? Sure. Like, I'm sorry? Is this really? That's how we're doing this? That's how we're treating this franchise? Like, this is a major movie for one of the biggest IPs on the planet, and that's how, like, little fucks anyone could give, is that to secure a role of one of the most recognizable fictional characters in existence, you just had to ask nicely. You just had to be like, oh, I like this. Can I do it? And then, like, that's it. And the same goes for Glenn Powell. It's like, what the fuck? What is going on? People just asked to be in the movie to, like, play random characters. Like, God forbid, if fucking Glenn Powell wanted to play, like, Ganondorf, imagine how different of a movie this could have been. And that's all it takes. It just takes reaching out, having your agent say, hey, Illumination, can he do this? And they just go, yeah, we don't care, sure. Like, really? Okay, that's terrific that's how this fucking shit movie ended up. It just, whatever the hell, yeah, why not? He wants to voice Yoshi. Donald Glover? Yeah, sure, okay. Donald Glover's job as Yoshi was bad. It was super corny. It sounds like any person on planet Earth if they tried to do a goofy Yoshi impression. It sounded cheesy. It sounded stupid. Every so often in the movie, they would use an actual, like, Totaka Yoshi sound. And it was like, oh, wow, it's like Yoshi. And it's like, if you're going to have Glenn Powell just say Yoshi and make noises the whole time, like, if that's going to be the role of Yoshi, why not just have Yoshi noises the whole time? Because, like, I don't get it. Why even bother going the other route? Because he asked. Because Donald Glover asked, so that's why. His role was very cheesy. How they put Yoshi into the movie made no sense. And they didn't even pretend to, like, make it make sense. They didn't even try. The way Yoshi is first introduced is just, like, completely irrelevant. The way they find him is, like, not at all relevant to the story or plot. It's very early on in the movie when they first introduce Mario and Luigi. Like, they just find Yoshi, and then I'll go into it later when I talk about spoilers. But he's just there, and for the rest of the movie, no one really knows why he's there. He just is, and he does very little to push any parts of the story forward. It really feels like if fucking Donald Glover didn't reach out, they would have just done this exact same movie without Yoshi, and nothing would have been different. I cannot stress enough how lazy and like stupid this movie was. It was just, honest to God, and I'm telling you, this is not me being negative for no reason. If you watch my shit, you know how much I care about the franchise. I sat there bored out of my mind for 30 minutes and then was just depressed because it was genuinely so poorly put together. It was an absolute jumbled mess of garbage. Nothing about it was it like really nothing about it seemed like two of the biggest companies in their mediums worked on it. It was like it seemed like a fan project. I'm going to start talking about spoilers, but before I do, just overall, my message of what the movie is based on what they've shown of it, if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen the movie and you look forward to seeing it or whatever, by all means, go ahead and watch it. I'm not going to fucking tell you not to. But I'm telling you, when these outlets, when every single outlet on the planet goes and gives this movie a bad review and says it's very poorly put together and the pacing is terrible, they're not lying. It's not that these outlets are stupid and they hate Nintendo. It is. It's a very poor. It's as a movie, objectively as a movie. Forget anything else. Forget it's Mario. Forget it's any, based off of anything at all. As a movie, it was terrible. As a movie, it was terrible. As a Mario movie, it was bad. The only reason it's not terrible as a Mario movie is because it's Mario. It has that excuse that it's Mario. And to see like Nintendo fans on Twitter defend it as if it's something good, it's not good. It's not. It really isn't even good. It doesn't meet the bar of good. If you're a diehard Nintendo fan and you consider it good, you're just objectively ignorant to the faults of the movie. Because I'm telling you, it's sparkly and it's got cool, vibrant colors and it's got fun Mario enemies in it. It was just a bad movie. It was objectively bad for so many reasons that I'm about to get into. So just remember, the thing about Nintendo fans, and I say this as if I'm not one, like I do care about the company, but I don't associate with the Nintendo fandom because everyone in it fucking sucks now. They're all a bunch of brain dead dick riders. So the thing about like Nintendo fans is that if you publicly like shit on Nintendo in a way that makes people who aren't very into video games in the industry see it. So if you like shit on the Mario movie and then like Joe Schmo who works a 9 to 5 and yeah, Mario's cool, I played a Mario when I was a kid, sees it, then like that pisses off Nintendo fans because it almost like delegitimizes their interests. It makes people who don't care very much about Nintendo see these comments and stuff and go, wow, Nintendo must have really fucked up, and that pisses off Nintendo fans because they have to make sure everyone has a good outlook on the company, even if they're fucking shit. When the company is being shit and gives us shit products, even then, Nintendo fans have to, they get upset. They get very frustrated when people just talk about opinions using objectivity in a way that shits on Nintendo, their IPs, and their products, so that regular people who aren't that into video games see it, and because God forbid they might form some kind of opinion on Nintendo that is in any way accurate. So with that being said, I'm going to start talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you really want to see it and you don't want any spoilers going into it, this is your time to click off the video. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to like care. If you don't watch the rest of this video, I mean, that's totally fine. I wouldn't, honestly, because I wouldn't want anything spoiled. But you're going to like finish the movie and think like, wow, I wouldn't have cared if any of that was spoiled because you're not missing much. So going forward, spoilers. Go watch the movie first, maybe. Come back and hear what I have to say. So going forward, spoilers. So first of all, I like to think that this movie was split up into 3 portions of interest. The first 30 minutes of the movie were very boring and uninteresting. Unironically, as much as the fun colors were going on, as much as it was fun to see, and I'm gonna, by the way, I have to be very careful with screenshots and video clips because they copyright the living shit out of people. And they've fucked me over with shit in the past for showing clips, even just showing the trailer. So I'm gonna be very careful with what I show. So forgive me for not just like playing clips or stuff in the background. I'm playing Mario Galaxy footage instead. But the movie is split up into the first 30 minutes being very boring, slow, and uninteresting. The next 30 minutes of the movie being pretty uninteresting, like mid, every so often you fade in and out of like consciousness watching it. And then the final 30 minutes of the movie are actually somewhat interesting and entertaining because there's a lot of action. It's very action heavy. So, first of all, like I said before, there were certain scenes in this movie that are, it really felt like last second they were like, we forgot to add that in, and then just had to add it in. Like they really, really didn't want to go over 90 minutes. Which I think if you take out like the opening sequence and the end credits, it's probably like literally exactly 90 minutes. It's weird. Like they could not go a minute over. And it really feels like that because I'm going to tell you right now, this movie could have been a lot longer, the shit they tried to fit into it. Um, but they just didn't. It was very crammed together. So let's talk specifics. What happens when the movie starts? The movie opens up with Rosalina telling some story to a bunch of Lumas. Let me just say, with the Lumas, the thought to give them mouths and to give them the voices of little tiny babies, I think was a very poor choice because it's super corny. If they wanted to give one of them that voice and style for comedic effect at some points, I could see that. This is something I think is a bit more opinionated. I think you could not care about this if you feel, but the move of having the Lumas have these really kiddie baby voices, I thought was just stupid, and it made me feel like a Goo Goo Gaga idiot watching the movie. But Rosalina tells this story. I'm using theater bootleg screenshots, by the way. I hope you enjoy that. Rosalina is telling the story. It has to get cut short. There's a knock at the door. Look who it is. It's Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. steals her because he wants to power some generator, which isn't really made that clear until later on in the movie. Okay, now what? Well, here's the start of the movie. This is where you're introduced to Mario and Luigi. Remember those guys? They're in the Tostarena. I think it's right. Is that what it was? Fucking Odyssey shit, right? Mario Galaxy. Here's your Odyssey world. And the reason they're there is because everyone's saying, "Oh, there's some shit happening in this pyramid. What the fuck?" So they go look into the pyramid for this scary thing. What's going on? There's a blocked pipe or something. And what's in the pipe? It's Yoshi. And here we remember, like, this is about 5 minutes into the movie. Here's Yoshi. They try to find out what is Yoshi? What the hell? How did it get here? And this is kind of the moment you realize that they almost like don't seem to give a shit about anything. There's retconning in this movie. It's funny to say that about like Mario, right? To retcon something. There's like fuckery with like lore. Again, it sounds funny to say that, but there's just like no respect shown at all for the franchise. It's like a joke. You can barely understand what's going on, but from what you can pick up, Yoshi lived in like the normal world for some reason. There was a dinosaur living in the normal world because he was born there, and then he gets chased out by police, and then gets knocked into the Mushroom Kingdom, and that's why they find him. And they can't really understand that, but they don't care. So the viewers understand this backstory, but no one in the actual movie knows why he's there. And that's kind of it. It's like a little highlight reel that lasts about a minute, showing how Yoshi ended up where he did. This, again, remember, this is about 5 to 6 minutes into the movie. This 1 minute highlight reel, and that's it. The rest of the movie, Yoshi's just there. I'm not going to go into too crazy detail because I feel like that would actually cause some copyright issue, me explaining every detail of the movie. So I'm going to like generalize portions of the movie and just pick on things that I think are of note. But the next chunk of the movie is you see Bowser Jr. with Rosalina, and it's kind of explained that Bowser Jr. and Bowser like were disconnected or something, and Bowser Jr. is looking for Bowser for some reason. So it's difficult. Obviously, it's, you know, taking off of the last movie, but it's like, so was Bowser Jr. born in between the last movie and now? It just makes no fucking sense at all. His design, by the way, you've seen the shit with his eyes. It looks so weird, and it's like, why the hell would they do that? Like, I don't get it because it genuinely looks weird. It's just fucking bizarre. The thing about the character design in both of these movies, it's just like, when you're adapting a video game, 3D video games to a 3D animated movie, the thing that's great is that the designs of all these characters in a 3D space have already existed for fucking decades. So what's the struggle with like perfecting some kind of 3D design? Because like pick up any Mario game and the design is right there. So how are they fucking things up in this movie, in both movies, especially with Spike if you saw that. Like I don't get it. What's so difficult about designing this character? The design already fucking exists. What's going on? Does no one care? So then the next chunk of the movie is Yoshi being introduced to everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom. And this is where you really start to learn that no one fucking cares. No one on the writing team for this movie gives a flying fuck about anything, any continuity, any actual, lore or story. Because there's a bunch of random bullshit that's just supposed to be quick funnies, like for a little stupid idiot kid to laugh at. There's just characters dancing and dumb, corny, cheap jokes and weird noises and stuff, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? What is all of this? Like, this isn't... It's just like so little respect to such a massive franchise. And that's all I could think about this entire time. Like, I remember I just played Galaxy again recently to get some footage for this. And it's like, wow, why is this like such a solid, like, put together experience, and this movie is like a fucking like sloppy joke? I don't get it. Like, it's not like the Mario games and the universe doesn't provide enough material to make an interesting story. God knows there's fucking 40 years of interesting shit you could talk about and, make a movie out of. So how like stupid of a person do you have to be to let all of this happen? And that just begs the question, what the hell was Miyamoto doing in all this? I'm going to get into that in a bit, but basically Yoshi gets introduced to everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom, and again, this is all within the span of like 2 minutes. It's all just happening so quickly. At this point, you're probably about like 10 to 15 minutes into this movie, and that's including like the opening sequences and transitions and stuff. And Yoshi is already a main like stay in the movie, and all the characters have accepted him, and no one knows the backstory, and they've just moved on from it. And there's like 4 different scenes that have already happened, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? You can't keep up with this. Mario and Peach have a heart-to-heart because Mario's giving her a gift or something like that, and it's the exact same heart-to-heart they had in the first movie. They just reused the entire like emotional aspect of it. It's Mario and Peach saying, "Oh, I don't know if I was really supposed to be here," and crap like that. Like the exact same conversation they had in the first movie, except the writing is so much worse. It's the corniest, most basic writing you've ever heard. It really sounds like they got a random dude to write these lines. It's like, how do people who work in the industry write lines so shitty and corny? I mean, as if like the lines aren't shitty enough, the delivery from the voice actors are like even cheesier and more cliche sounding. It's so bad. Then some shit happens, a Luma falls, and they pick it up, and the Luma talks and says exactly what we all know because we've been watching the movie, even though it happened like 3 minutes ago because everything in this movie is so fast-paced. The Luma explains Rosalina was caught, you gotta go save her. And again, the thing with the Lumas with their voices, it's so fucking cheesy and corny, and as an adult in a movie theater watching this, I can't help but think like, God, this is fucking... I feel embarrassing being here. Like, why can't this movie just, like, be a movie? Why can't this just be an entertaining animated movie and not, like, designed and written for the stupidest fucking brain-dead little kids on the planet? I don't get it. If I was a parent coming here with my kid, I would still be like, wow, this is really, like, this is a piece of shit movie. And like I said, if I was a little kid, I would be thinking the same thing because it's just very poorly put together. Everything the Lumas say throughout the movie could be conveyed through a squeak or some noise like they do in the Galaxy games. Like, they didn't need to have some dumb kid voice. So I don't... Again, it's just a little like thing that just the whole movie you have to deal with. It's fucking corny. It's cheesy. It makes you feel like a fucking 2-year-old in the movie theater. References, references, references. This movie's all about references. Why have interesting plot and writing when you can just reference something? Remember this shot, like from the Galaxy opening sequence with Peach in the letter? Isn't this just, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Remember Pokies and remember Goombas and like remember Sniffets? Remember them? I'm all there for them being background characters and all. I mean, they have to be, and it's fun to see them. But like, how many scenes can it just be a reference fest? Because there's a difference between an enemy or a character from the Mario games just showing up for a quick, like, hey, look who it is, kind of thing. But it's another thing when story elements and plot movement is built around a reference. It's just like so stupid because some of them can be very specific. Some of them you just have to be an actual fan of the franchise and have played a lot of the games a lot to even remember. Like, how many people in the theater played Galaxy? And I'm sure there are a lot of people in the theater who did play Galaxy, but of those people who did play Galaxy, which it probably has been many years, if you aren't a huge fan of the series, how many of them remember Mega Leg? And it's like these Galaxy references, and it's like, okay, it's a Galaxy themed movie, sure. But overall, throughout the movie, Galaxy is very barely touched on. It really doesn't feel like a Mario Galaxy movie. There's probably more Odyssey shit, actually, than there is Galaxy stuff throughout the movie. It's bizarre. About 20 minutes into the movie, that all of this has already happened, there's like a flash reel of like a Mario map kind of thing, and it zooms in, and it's like there's levels that they're playing, and again, it's just like I don't care. I'm just bored. I'm bored because it's so uninteresting. Nothing is happening that's making me care. It's zooming in like it's a Mario level and having the Hammer Bros on the blocks and shit. I just don't fucking care. Like, is the entertainment supposed to be coming from the wacky antics between Mario, Luigi, and the wacky stuff Yoshi does that surprises them? Like, how fucking much? Like, it's just boring. It's not interesting. Nothing is interesting yet. It's not me being negative for no reason. It's just that I'm uninterested. It's very boring thus far. So what happens next? So they go back to the castle to get Bowser because he wants to talk to them. Pretty unfunny, forced jokes that happen with Bowser. Throughout the whole movie, I think there were 2 times I unironically laughed at a joke. Um, Other than that, like really 99% of the movie, the writing is super cheesy and it's obvious it's meant for like brain dead little kids. It's just very cliche and corny. So much of the voice lines, just the writing, it's terrible. I can't stress that enough. But Bowser talks to Mario. Mario says Bowser Jr. tried to kill them. And then Bowser explains that he hasn't seen Jr. in fucking a while or some shit like that. There's some like flashback. They kind of push heavy on this idea that there was a story of how Bowser would always tell Bowser Jr. that one day they would build a planet that they could rule. So Bowser Jr. has this flashback where he shows Bowser doing a puppet show, and asks him to do it again, and he's like, "We'll do it again tomorrow night when the show's over," in this flashback. But then later in the movie, they kind of push this idea that Bowser was never there for Bowser Jr. or something like that. So it's bizarre that they have these like conflicting things where it's like, well, he talked all the time and showed Bowser Jr. all this shit about, creating a planet to rule, but then he was never there for him and he hasn't seen him in years. Like, what the fuck? So what is it? It doesn't really add up. Um, Long story short, Bowser agrees to join Mario, and he wants to become big again as they're like walking. So he tells Mario to step on him, and it makes Bowser grow for some reason, which makes no fucking sense at all. I don't understand that. There's a very corny shot of Bowser kissing Mario for a long ass time. I don't remember if it's around this point, but I think it was earlier in the movie when Luigi's like busting Mario's chops for having a crush on Peach. He sings "That's Amore," and Yoshi does this incredibly corny and stupid like drop in. I think I can play that clip. I think I won't get copyright fucked here. Just watch this. It's so fucking corny.
A big pizza pie that's
But anyway, now the three are, or the four are a team, and they're off to find Bowser Jr. Before they move on and there's any separation, before I go further into the next scene, the scene that happens where Bowser Jr. and Mario first meet and have some kind of interaction, There's a very cool action scene. It's done well. I think it's choreographed well, and the action's fun. It's fun to watch. It's not so cool and good, but it was exciting. Like for the first time in this movie so far, it felt like there was something actually fun to watch. Some cool action of them jumping around. And this is again, it's about 30 minutes at this point. So this is where the first thing of any interest happens. You have Bowser Jr., who has a pretty cool design based off of Wonder, and this action scene that's fun. So okay, cool. Castle crashes to the ground. The four reconcile. Okay, now back to Peach and Toad, who are doing their own shit. You may be wondering, oh, will Peach and Toad have their own side story? I don't really know. There's like a million different little side stories going on in the whole movie, and they like some parts of them connect and shit. It's so weird. It's not really a story of like, well, there's the Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Bowser story over here. There's the Peach and Toad journey over here, and then you have the Rosalina story here. Like that would make sense, but it's really not like that. Like the who's with who is always moving around, and it's never consistent. It's just so weird. There's like a middle chunk of the movie where it seems like there's some kind of core parties that are separated and having their own stories, but it just kind of becomes a mess by the point Fox McCloud comes in. So okay. Peach and Toad, what are they doing? Peach and Toad are at the Galaxy Gateway, haha, get it, where they're trying to find information on this Rosalina. How can they find Rosalina that the Luma was talking about? This is where there's a lot of references to other characters. There's Piantas, and there's just like a bunch of... It's fun to see, like, all these characters walking around, and they have, like, these little goofy personalities. You see the Monty Moles and shit. Like, that's fun. This is where Rob shows up, and his appearance, him as a cameo in this movie, I think is done well. I think like for the humor they gave him, that he's like this slow like robot that's supposed to be helpful and thinks it's being helpful, but is just like really slow and annoying. I think as far as that goes, Rob fit well in the movie. It was fun. It was a fun little cameo. I have no problem with it. I thought he had a good joke. But this is where like it just becomes so stupid, and you just have to stop caring. As if you could care in the first place about anything that was happening. Peach reveals that Rosalina is her sister. Yes, if you want to go for that. I mean, fuck it, who cares? Rosalina and Peach are sisters, if you can believe that. Fuck the games and the lore that this movie is based on. Peach and Rosalina, sisters, why not? I mean, who cares at this point? And remember, like, this is a Galaxy movie. You'd think by this point you'd be seeing, like, the fucking... fat-ass Lumas eating Starbits and, like, maybe some galaxies from the games and shit like that. And it's like, nope, so far there's a Pikmin reference, there's like a fight scene, there's Yoshi, and it's like, where the fuck is the galaxy stuff? They look around the gateway, and Okiki steals Toad's items and warps through a wall. Why does he warp through a wall? Fuck if I know. There really is no explanation for it. There's no reason it happens. It just happens because that's how they wrote it. They watch the Okiki go through the wall, they touch the wall, they go through it too, and now they're in some underground, like, bar. And that's it. There's no other reason as to why they could walk through that specific wall. There's no reason why that wall was, like, fake or some kind of false wall. It would have been clever if they touched it and it had, like, a water droplet effect, like it was a painting from, like, Mario 64. You know, like, that would have made sense, but I guess not. Like, who fucking cares, really? So they walk through this bar, and then they look over, and there's this whole underground, like, Bowser Neo City type deal. And you just get this huge scape of all these cool references. Look at that N64 logo, an 8-bit blooper. It's just like, okay, I mean, sure, whatever. It would be more excusable if the movie had been in any way interesting so far. But you can't help but, like, sigh seeing these references, because everything else in the movie is so shallow and pointless that it's like, if you're gonna have so many references in this and just have it cushioned by references, like, maybe just make the core movie itself interesting, but it's not. So you can't help but sigh looking at all this. Now, this is probably one of the best scenes in the movie. It's a scene I thought was awesome. Remember how it was a huge deal when they teased that Wart and Mauser would be in the movie? This is where that happens. And this is the first scene in the whole movie, I shit you not, that isn't paced like cock. Like, every scene so far, except maybe when Peach and Toad get to the Galaxy Gateway, like, that was a bit slowed down, but it was still a bit fast-paced. Now this is the first scene in the movie where it's, like, slowed down a bit. It's not paced well and properly, but it's paced well enough to where you can just like stop and look around and enjoy some kind of interaction with characters and a story that's going on. So they find this block-shaped casino where you could walk up the walls and shit, and the way it's done visually is fucking sick. It's really cool. Everything about it, the design, the way the characters are interacting, they're all like pissed and like everyone's in this like casino style and shit like that, and like it's done really well, and it's like a shame that they didn't linger there longer because it was a pretty cool setting. But Peach wants some info for some reason, so she has to talk to Wart, and Wart's at this table with Birdo and Mauser, and this whole area you can tell it's based on Super Mario Brothers 2. All the characters, there's a lot of Mario 2 characters in it. It's got like a very sub-con feel to it. There's the gambling, like the roulette at the end of each level. And Peach goes to talk to Wart, and Wart, I think, is done very well in the movie. His design's fun. Every time he talks, he's like gurgling up bubbles and stuff. It's fun. It's fun. And then there's along with all this casino theme shit, there's a big fight scene with Peach and ninjas, which isn't too interesting to tell you the truth. It's pretty bland and plain. It's just Peach like whacking a bunch of ninjas, and that's kind of it. It's fun to watch like them fly into slot machines and stuff, but other than that, it's a pretty bland fight scene. Then Wart gets his ass kicked. You see like Claw Grip shows up, and Mauser had like almost no role in the fight. I don't even think he talks actually, which is a shame. But Wart as a character, I thought he was done pretty well. The whole scene, it was cool. Good scene. Now take a scene that's paced somewhat okay and watchable, and here's the best example of how this movie just shoves references in for no reason at all. This is quite possibly the dumbest sequence of the entire movie. So, Honeyhive Galaxy. Let's put that in the movie, right? Because it's a Mario Galaxy movie, and so far the only Mario Galaxy thing we've seen is Rosalina, pretty much. Like, that's kind of, like, literally it. There has been... I mean, there's Mega Leg. Other than that, like, what there's not really Mario Galaxy shit. So the amount of time it's going to take me to explain to you the story of this portion is it probably will take the exact same amount of time for you to just watch it. So basically, the four boys walk into the Honeyhive Galaxy because they want to talk to Queen Bee for some fuck all reason. Who cares? And the bees say, eat shit, we're not letting you in. And Mario says, please. And they say, okay, but your scary-looking friend, he can't come with you, so Bowser has to wait outside. Okay, well, obviously, Bowser's not going to wait outside, right? You can tell, it's predictable. To you as the viewer, something's going to go down. Bowser's getting in there. So, like, Mario, Yoshi, and Luigi aren't just going to walk in and walk back out, and Bowser's going to be patiently waiting for them. So they go in, and the queen, I swear to God, the queen says, are you these people? And they say, yes, we're these people. And she goes, you ruined my flowers. Arrest them. And that's literally it. And then the next thing that happens is Bowser just breaks through the door. I swear to God, end of scene. This is it. It is, they spend less than 3 minutes in the whole Honeyhive setting. Basically, she just wants, like, the three to work in the honey mines or some shit. And Bowser says, no, I'll do it instead. Let them go. And that's it. That is all. There is no other point to the Queen Bee. She makes no other appearance. There's no other point to the Honeyhive Galaxy shit at all. That is all. It is a 3-minute sequence. There is one line in between setting up the issue of Bowser not being let in and Bowser breaking his way in. There is one line, one exchange, and they're immediately arrested. There is no, it makes no sense. Alright, so jumping ahead a little bit, let's talk Fox McCloud. This is where he gets introduced. It's probably it's about under an hour into the movie. And like I said, first half an hour, shit. Second half an hour, a little bit better, but still, it had some interesting points, like the casino section. But other than that, it's pretty shit. Now we're getting into the third half an hour. This is just under the hour mark here. Fox gets introduced, and it makes no sense. Peach decides that she needs help, so who else does she ask but Fox McCloud, because why not? I mean, what the fuck? Fox McCloud, when he first gets introduced, has this fucking sick-ass animated sequence that explains his, backstory. His backstory, by the way, is the dumbest shit ever. He does, of course, they have to make the barrel roll joke you know, for the millennials who really would have loved that. Who cares? It was really corny, and the there's a really like shitty joke with Slippy. It's so the whole. I don't even know. I think I can show this clip. Don't tell anyone. But it's just the delivery is so cheesy.
That's what I get for making a frog, my engineer.
But it's this so fucking cool animated sequence that makes you want to, like, to watch an animated Star Fox movie. It's so awesome looking, everything about it. And meanwhile, the story he's explaining through this animation is the dumbest thing ever. He goes into a galaxy or some shit and gets warped to the Mushroom Kingdom, and that's it. Like, what? Why? So that's why. That's how they like fucking shoved him into the movie. It's so weird. It's so dumb. It makes me wish there was just a Star Fox animated movie instead of him just for some reason playing a part in the Mario movie. So the next part is where Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi finally reunite with Peach and Toad now that they have Fox McCloud with them. And it's so dumb. They just show up, and that's just it. Like, the Queen Bee let them ride this the Mandabug, and they just show up, and it's kind of insinuated that Mario's jealous of Fox because Peach finds him to be cool, but they never actually do anything with that the entire movie. It's just like kind of joked at, and then it's never touched again. They just become instant friends. So now, after literally under 10 seconds of them interacting to meet each other, they're like this solid group. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy type shit. So Fox flies the R-Wing, and they're going to try to defeat Bowser and Bowser Jr., who reunited. And Bowser's saying that Bowser Jr. shouldn't kill them because they became friends. And Bowser Jr. says, okay, so he grabs a Super Scope, shoots them, and turns Mario and Luigi into babies because it would look good in the trailer, I guess. There's no other reason. It just, I say this, and it sounds like I'm like not explaining things well. I promise you, I'm explaining them exactly how it happens. That just is what happens. They just become babies, and that's it. So Yoshi, Toad, Mario, and Luigi land on a planet where there's the T-Rex from Odyssey because, you know, why not? Who fucking cares? Mario and Luigi are babies. There's, you know, shenanigans occur. Toad tries to save them. Yoshi tries to save everyone. Toad accidentally becomes a baby. And then everything's fixed and they reunite. That is it. I swear to God, I'm not rushing through the explanation. That is all that happens. It happens in about 4 minutes. It's so terrible. It's just so sloppily done. And then this is the best. The R-Wing is broken, so they're, like, screwed. And Luigi jokingly talks into this, like, AM radio, which just so happens to send a signal to the Lumas in the Comet Observatory. And somehow, from Luigi, like, cracking jokes into the radio, the Lumas know exactly where they are and get there in, like, a minute. And now they go to save Rosalina. It just made no sense, and it really treats the viewer like a fucking idiot, because I was watching this like, what, why, what the hell is any of this? So now we're in the final chunk of the movie. They finally put Rosalina in this generator to power the Boomsday cannon, I think is what they called in the movie. And if you can't tell what, like, the end goal here is by any of the characters, are by my explanation, you won't in the movie either. The whole movie, the whole time I was wondering, what are they doing this for? I don't know what they're doing this for. It's just confusing, and you have no clue at any point what the end goal of the characters are. At some point, you think that the Bowser and Bowser Jr. want to have a planet that they build, and then they're, like, using Rosalina to power a generator, and it's like, well, what the hell are they doing? And what do Mario and Luigi want? They want to save Rosalina. Okay, they don't know her. Peach knew her, and then I don't know. It's so stupid. Anyway, you see Bowser land or whatever, and it's like an amusement park. It's got some funny, like, little quips and stuff, visual quips that I thought were cute. Fox kind of just disappears at this point once they arrive. He kind of just stops appearing in the movie. And then there's this really cool scene, and it's obviously very Mario Maker based, but Bowser Jr. is, like, building a level around Mario and Peach, and they're just, like, running through it. And as mindless as that sounds, it's just fun to watch. Like, trust me, it's not good cinema, but in a movie of like constant boring dog shit, like this was gold. It was just fun to watch. As stupid as it is to have Bowser Jr. like moving 8-bit parts, having like an 8-bit NES Mario sprite in Super Mario World textures and shit, which didn't make sense. It's just fun to watch them jump around and like hoo-ha, funny Italian man, and have a wall of thwomps and shit. Like that's just dumb fun, and that's the shit I would be fine with people defending if they were like, it's supposed to be a fun movie. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. Like, okay, well, it wasn't a fun movie. That was like one of the fun parts of the movie. Everything else was boring as shit. So that excuse is not valid. This part was fun to watch. That is all. Then Bowser and Mario are on a bridge, and it's super predictable to see where this is heading. There's axes. They knock Bowser into the lava. Guess who comes out? Dry Bowser. What do you know? So now there's a fight between Dry Bowser and Bowser Jr. versus Mario and Co. And this is definitely the most interesting action scene of the game. And it also happens to be one of, I think, 2 action scenes in the whole movie. Or, I'm sorry, one of 3 that I can remember off the top of my head. Definitely one of 3 that like were coherent and clear. You know, they just fuck around with power-ups, and that's kind of what you want to see as the viewer. If you're watching a fun movie, quote unquote, just a fun movie, like, isn't that what you want? You want to see them goof around with power-ups, and you want to see the fun action. That's what this was. Finally, after fucking sitting through an hour and 20 minutes, here we are watching them dick around with power-ups, and the action's fun to watch. And of course, the good guys win. Okay, now what? Well, it's worth bringing up, as far as, like, outside of Mario characters go, there's Rob and Fox McCloud and Pikmin. Those ones have been confirmed, like, through just advertising and stuff. In the last Mario movie, they had, like, posters for Punch-Out and shit like that. But what other non-Mario characters show up in this movie? Well, here was the one other time in this movie I unironically, genuinely laughed. I thought it was funny. I think it was either Luigi or Mario takes Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush and paints something to fight against them, and he ends up painting a Mr. Game & Watch, and they do this whole bit about it, and you would think it would just be like a quick, like, 1 second, like, oh, Mr. Game & Watch. But it's actually like a minute-long fight sequence of Mr. Game & Watch doing shit, which I was at a point with this movie where I just didn't give a fuck anymore. If I did give a fuck, it would have been annoying to just watch another dumb reference that has nothing to do with Mario. But truthfully, it was actually fun to watch Mr. Game & Watch, like, dick around and stuff. And there was actually, like I said, the one funny thing about this whole sequence I honestly laughed at was Bowser throws something, and, everyone ducks, but Mr. Game & Watch, he doesn't duck, and he just gets his upper torso, like, ripped off, but he's Mr. Game & Watch, he's just a 2D guy, so he doesn't move. I thought that was silly. So, the dragon from Odyssey shows up, eats Bowser Jr., and Bowser gets sad, and suddenly Mario and Co. want to save Bowser Jr., as if, like, the whole movie Bowser Jr. was trying to kill them, but now because he got eaten, I guess it makes him a good person, worth redeeming. It's stupid, so they go and try to save him. How did they do that? They just, like, stab through the dragon. All the while this is happening, Peach goes to save Rosalina and can't, like, get her out of this glass dome. And then has a flashback where she remembers touching hands with her. So she touches hands with her again, and that destroys everything, because why not? They reunite. The Lumas have some really cringe dialogue with Rosalina. And then, hey, Fox McCloud, remember him? Yeah, he shows up, and he just is like, yep, all is well. And then they realize that the castle is fucked. So there's a 2D, like an 8-bit sequence of them rebuilding the castle, which is kind of cute. And then they, like, zoom out and show the castle, and then the movie ends, and it was like, oh, that was it? Like, okay, what? There are 2 post-credit sequences. In the first one, Fox leaves the Mushroom Kingdom and just goes fucking I don't know where. And then they cuts to Bowser and Bowser Jr. in their jail cell, and then the Luma cop cracks a funny joke, and then that's it. And then the second post-credit scene, major spoilers here for the third movie, it's the Okiki again stealing shit, and it zooms out, and look who's there to help. It's Daisy, who looks like shit. I don't know what the fuck it is with the design of these characters that they just can't fucking get right. Like, I don't know. 3D designs of Daisy in her modern design have existed since 2001, or I'm sorry, 2002. So I don't know how hard it is to translate a 3D character into a 3D character. Like, what the fuck is the confusion there? So overall, as a movie, I personally would rate it about a 4 out of 10. I think that's a fair review. It's terrible. It's objectively terrible as a movie. Remember, for all of you morons on Twitter, I've seen this, who say, you know, people who are complaining about this movie clearly haven't played any mainline Mario games, and it's like, who the fuck do you think this movie is for? Do you know how many people have just played a Mario game? Like, you're not seeing it. If you've never played a Mario game, then you're not fucking seeing it, because why the hell would you care? Like, no shit. You play New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Bowser takes Peach, and that's the story. And you know what? That's fine. It's a 2D platformer. You play it because it's a fun 2D platformer, not because for the fucking story. So that's why it doesn't matter, and those games are fine for having almost no story. Like, the point of a movie is that you sit down and watch a story. There is no excuse. That's not... Like, you have to be the biggest fucking moron on planet Earth. Like, you're really just a big goo-goo gaga baby idiot brain dipshit Nintendo dick rider if your excuse for the movie being shit is that you clearly haven't played a mainline Mario game. Like, are you fucking stupid, you goddamn moron? What? So as a movie, it's objectively terrible. As a video game movie, it's bad. As a Mario movie, it's bad. Like, it's never a case of, you know, video game adaptations can't be good. It's a case of they just put morons in charge of video game adaptations. Like, you can't tell me that they could not have made a good Mario movie. Like, there's so many fucking ways they could have made the most amazing Mario Galaxy movie on planet Earth. Like, if it all just took place in settings from the Galaxy games, just jumping from galaxy to galaxy with action scenes, like some kind of story, and instead they just had to go with all this like weird retconning bullshit that doesn't even matter, shoving characters in that aren't even from Mario games that are important for some reason, TikTok-like scenes where there's like 6 seconds of things going on and then it cuts to something else. I mean, it is paced like dog shit. It's stuffed with references, and it doesn't even do the references good, because I didn't even care for most of the, like, I didn't go, ooh, reference, I recognize that, as much as I did in the first movie. Overall, major step down from the first movie, and it was terrible. It was really depressing. It was a shit movie. And you know what? It's just possible that Shigeru Miyamoto can't make movies. Maybe he makes video games. Maybe well, back when he did, you know, make video games and directed Mario games instead of just giving the thumbs up and saying, yep, that looks like a Mario game to me. You know, maybe he doesn't make movies, and maybe he shouldn't be because he can't. Maybe he is meant to make video games and design video games, and he's not meant to write movies, because this was poorly done, and it's very clear. I mean, he had a lot of control over this with Chris Meledandri. And you know what? It came out terrible. Maybe just because people are interested in a franchise, maybe because Donald Glover wanted to be Yoshi, and Glenn Powell wanted to be Fox, and Brie Larson's a Nintendo fan. Maybe that doesn't mean Brie Larson can't deliver lines that don't often come off as very cheesy delivery. Maybe Fox McCloud shouldn't be in the Mario movie because that makes no sense. Maybe Donald Glover shouldn't voice Yoshi because he does the cheesiest, dumbest Yoshi impression that a baby could do, that anyone on planet Earth could have done that isn't fucking Donald Glover. Maybe Shigeru Miyamoto is kind of just not doing things he should be doing. Maybe Shigeru Miyamoto should actually go back to being in charge of making Mario games and not be on the board of directors at Nintendo anymore, because I don't think he's doing much good there. And I don't think he's doing much good being in charge of the Mario movie, because this turned out to be terrible. It was a terrible movie. Not to say I don't love Miyamoto, but I'm not gonna just fucking love the man and everything he does unconditionally. I'm going to tell you objectively this movie was terrible, and Miyamoto was responsible for a lot of it, I'm sure. Good parts of the movie, fun, sparkly, vivid visuals. I saw it in 3D, and the visuals were good. I mean, it's Illumination, and they always try to do everything as cheap as possible. But I had no problem with the visuals. I thought the visuals were nice. The design, of course, I have a problem with, but overall the visuals were nice. The orchestral soundtrack, I thought a lot of the music was great. I honestly, a lot of it I thought was better and more well done than the first movie. The soundtrack, fantastic, amazing job. If I had to like rate chunks like things from the movie out of 10, like the score, I would give like a 9 out of 10. The visuals, the way the style it was done in, I would say like probably an 8 out of 10. Everything else about the movie, the pacing, the character design, the voices, everything, would all of it just has to be a 5 or below. Like it's not making it into the good section. The final thing I just want to leave this off on, and I can't stress this enough. People who say, "Well, it's a movie for little kids. What do you expect?" I cannot stand that excuse, especially when it comes to just Nintendo shit in general. You know, I feel like years ago you could just enjoy Nintendo shit. If you pick up New Super Mario Bros. Wii, you're not gonna feel like a little fucking child baby. There's no dumb, stupid voices and cheesy lines and garbage in it. It's just a fucking fun ass video game. It doesn't bullshit around, and that's why I love the new Soup games so much, is because you just play them because they're video games. The thing about movies is that they're not video games. You don't play them, you watch them. The point to see a movie is to watch a story happen. If you're and listen, if you like the movie because it's fun to I hate using the jingling keys analogy because it's very overused at this point. But it really, that just is, I don't see a universe where that isn't objectively the case, where you can dissect this movie and it is anything but just flawed in almost every single aspect. The only reason you would think that this movie is good is because you like everything Nintendo gives you. That is the only reason. I love the Mario games, and I could sit and talk all day about them. And I'm telling you, as a fan of the series, this movie was bad. It was done poorly. Just because it's Nintendo and it's Mario, and I love Mario and I love playing Mario games, that does not mean that this movie was good because it had Mario shit in it and I like Mario. That does not translate one to one. I can think of a million ways that a Mario movie could be done fantastically and in a way that engages people who played one game when they were younger, people who have been playing every game that comes out, people that have some interest, people that have little interest. There's a million ways they could do it that it just keeps everyone of all ages engaged. This is just done, and it just makes you feel like a little fucking stupid kid watching it. I almost feel like the Nintendo community has become like a weird collection of like self-conscious adults that where Nintendo is moving in a much kiddier direction than they used to, and because of that, these adult fans have to overcompensate and praise everything that happens, even though Nintendo is leaning in a much kiddier direction with everything they do in terms of voice acting, game design, just everything. And since these fans are overcompensating, they will take complete, dog shit like this movie that is just a scrambled goddamn mess of garbage and references and poor writing and horrible pacing, this reference fest, and treat it like it is fucking fantastic. Like of all the video game movie adaptations, like you can't beat this. Like no, you're saying that because it's Nintendo and it's Mario. But if you can objectively step back and look at the movie, it is so fucking bad. It is so flawed. And I didn't want it to be flawed. It was honestly worse than I expected. I expected it to be like on par with the first movie. It was worse. It really was. And I don't say that because I love being negative and shitting on Nintendo. I have to say this all the time. It was objectively bad. I know I'm repeating myself, but I can't stress that enough because I see so many fucking people online defending it and saying it was fantastic, it was incredible. It's like, if you think this was incredible, what the fuck are your standards for movies? Have you seen any other movie? Do Nintendo, these fans, do they watch like films and television? Are they aware that this is a terrible movie? How how deep under a rock do you have to live to watch the Mario Galaxy movie, walk out of it and say that was a good movie? Like, you have to be so ignorant and just oblivious to everything around you. Do you only play Mario games? This movie could be engaging for everyone, but instead it really just makes you feel like a little stupid baby watching the whole time. A goo goo gaga idiot who likes pretty colors and silly noises. It's sad. If I see one more person online say, it's not made for the critics, it's made for the fans, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself. Because I'm gonna tell you what, like I said earlier, I'm a fan, and I thought it was terrible. I've played fucking more Mario games than probably most people who think they're a huge fan of the series. Trust me. And I'm telling you, it was a terrible movie. It was just bad. It was bad. It had good parts. There were things about it I liked. There were scenes I remember thinking, yeah, this is fun. But oh my god, was the first half hour a bore fest. The second half hour just uninteresting. The third half hour, meh, okay. If you ignore how garbage the plot was and lackluster the story and characters were. And the character development, if you want to even pretend that there was any at all. At the end, they teased the sequel with Daisy. I really wish they just would not do a sequel. I wish they would stop, like, burning holes in the Mario franchise. But really, they have no reason not to do a sequel. I mean, this is going to bring in billions of dollars. It would be stupid of them not to, and it's going to continue being, like, just slop. It's just sad to see Nintendo continue this trend they have been for years now of just not caring about their IPs. If it makes money, then there is no need for respecting the franchise. So if you're left with anything, remember this. This movie, let this movie be the ultimate showcase of how self-conscious and, like, stupid and brain-dead Nintendo fans have become, that a movie as poorly done as this can come out, and people will go online and comment on every journalist that is giving some review of it and say, yeah, no one takes you seriously anymore. Yeah, you guys, well, you're fucking wrong. Oh, you say it's bad, it must mean it's good. Like, no, you're just an idiot. You're just an ignorant piece of shit moron who eats up garbage and can't accept that your beloved company made a very bad movie that I didn't want to be bad. I'm telling you, it was bad. It was a bad movie, poorly done. That is all. As always, I'm Bearman, and I've been wasting your time. Thanks for watching.